Hello. Today we are going to talk about stress and stress management. A lot of people use that word stress, but they may not know what it means. Some do know. But today I'm going to explain it in a simple term what stress is. Stress is when there is an imbalance between demand, which is the demand that has been placed on our body or on us in form of school fees, unpaid bill, house rent, relationship issues, marital issues, divorce issues. When you are not able to cope with them, that is when stress is generated. So it's when there is an imbalance between demand and the means of meeting up with that demand. That is to say, the means of meeting up with this demand that life has placed on us. Stress is our friend, it's not our enemy. It depends on how we use it. God put that force in us to enable us to do things. Stress is a motivating factor. It helps us to run away from danger. It helps us to stay and fight the threat. Without stress, we live a vegetative life. In African context, they will say, when you are overstressed, you will live what we call overgaragara life. When you are under stress, you will live what we call swegbe life. When stress is in equilibrium, that is, you are able to cope with it. It enables you to do things, motivates you to carry out tasks, to complete tasks. It is stress that causes athletes to reach finishing line. People that are drawing tug of war, it is stress that causes them to pull either to the other side or the other side will pull them. Stress is our friend. So when we are not able to cope with it, that is where stress becomes a problem. When it becomes overwhelming, where we cannot sleep, thinking about, oh, how to pay the fees, how to pay house rent, or how to cope with this relationship issue. Stress is likened to where we are designing slab in engineering. When a load is to be imposed on a slab, you have to consider the design need, the bearing capacity of that slab. When you place that load on it, and the slab design is under design, is not able to carry that load, it will break and disintegrate that slab. That is the same thing that happens to our body. When we overly react to that load or demand that is placed on us, stress, now that demand that we are not able to cope with, and stress is developed or generated, it will start affecting us. It's an insidious thing, you don't see it. You cannot see it, but it's on and on in our body. By the time you know it, we start having racing heart, palpitation, and so on and so forth. We start sweating and shivering because we've gone into what we call fight and flight mode. I will explain all these things. That is the biochemical reaction that happens in our body that we don't see, that can accelerate the process of illness. Stress does not cause illness. It can lead to, that is to say, process or accelerate, or maybe it can make worse an existing illness. Stress is our friend. You can make stress your body battery charger, or you can make stress your fuse blower. Fuse is a device that is put in electrical system to prevent it from getting damaged through overcurrent or current surge. That is the same way God puts stress in us. But when we mismanage it, it can damage us. Stress is our friend. Make it your friend. On my left here is ECG recording device. It is the first point of care in emergency medicine. It is used to record our heart electrical activity, to know if something has gone wrong with our heart. Also, this is blood pressure monitor. At certain age, you need to have blood pressure monitor. You need to be going for for health check to know what your blood pressure is reading, because both has to do with the heart. When blood is pumped, the pressure it exerts on the arterial wall, that is what can lead to blood pressure rise, or maybe it could be a normal one. Now, these are food supplements. Why do we supplement? Some of the food we eat and cook them, they don't have regulated cooking temperature. We may overcook them, thereby losing their nutritional content. So, but not everyone needs food supplement. I always say that if you don't eat your food like medicine, you eat medicine like your food. Most of all these, they are derivatives of natural vegetable fruits and all whatnot. So if you eat enough vegetables, enough fruit, you don't need food supplement. You don't need it. Also, most people, when they go for health check and their blood pressure is being measured, most of the time it can go too high. Why? Because of environmental factor. Once you're in the doctor's office, that's what we call white collar hypertension. Your mind will be, oh, what's the doctor going to say now? That also has increased, will help to increase your blood pressure. So when you are at home and you have blood pressure device and check it at home, now when you go for health check, you compare it with what will be gotten, in the hospital or in the doctor's office. In stress, we have what we call resilience and individual vulnerability. In resilience is your ability to cope with stress. The same way resilience or maybe a bearing capacity of a slab is something that has to do with it's a variable factor. They cannot be the same. What affects you when you are in a stressful situation may not affect me. That is when we talk about resilience. In individual vulnerability, some factors playing, like genetic factors, environmental factors, age, and so on and so forth. At certain age, stress will affect you differently. If you have that predisposition under individual vulnerability, stress will also affect you differently. That is, from this family, stress may be affecting them. The other family, they can be able to cope with stress. I will explain all these factors that can cause stress, more benefits of stress, and some illnesses that stress can accelerate the process of developing them. Thank you for watching. In my next episode, I will explain more on all these factors and how to cope with stress, how to manage stress. Thank you for now. Bye-bye.